Shalom, Kahala, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shabbat Hashim, Kakabadash, double honor to the apostles and the bishops of great millstone, even the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word and truth, and it's sincerely hopeful like the tabernacle of David. I'm the elder Yahshua. I'm back with the WW3 Daily update. Shalom and salutations to you all. And today is War and Rumors of War Tuesday, a day where we get the update through rumors of war. A day where we go to Matthew 24 and 6 and read it in King James. And we're looking for this very famous phrase, wars and rumors of wars. There it is. Wars and rumors of wars. We read the whole thing, Matthew 24 and 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Then we look at these other versions and we pick out the differences. NIV is rumors as well. Wars and rumors of war. NLT is wars and threats. So we got rumors and threats down here. It says new. What does it say new? King James. It's good news. Okay, you are going to hear the noise of battles close by in the news. So we got rumors, threats, and news. Okay, news, rumors, threats, news, and reports of wars. So reports, news, threats, and rumors all add up to the fame, okay, the fame and notoriety of World War III. Okay, that's all everybody's talking about is the war. That's what wars and rumors of wars means. Okay, fame, if you will. All right, so with that being said, let's hear some threats. Let's hear some reports. See that reporting? Here's one. Truth bombs. Is that rumor? Truth? Reports, threats, rumors, news. Go, Anna.
Welcome back to the Young Turks. I'm Anna Kasparian, and there is a lot of confusion in regard to where we currently stand in the negotiations between the United States and Iran. Many Americans want an end to this war. They want the Strait of Hormuz to be open. And a lot of people got their hopes up over this past weekend where it appeared as though Trump was close to making a deal with the Iranians, and then everything fell apart. So what is actually happening right now? Well, fortunately, here to discuss this story with us is Joe Kent, the former director of the National Counterterrorism Center. He stepped down from the Trump administration following the start or the launch of the war against Iran, and he's here to answer some questions today. Joe, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Great to be with you.
You and I haven't spoken directly yet, but I really appreciate your accessibility, how many interviews you've been doing since stepping down from your role, because it has been enlightening. A lot of people are curious about what's really happening behind the scenes with the Trump administration. So why don't we start off with a question that's been, front of mind since this past weekend. So these negotiations, alleged negotiations between the United States and Iran, seem to have kind of fallen apart. Some believe that the Israelis sabotaged peace yet again, but I actually question whether the Trump administration is negotiating in good faith. And the reason why I say that is because Axios, Barak Ravid specifically, keeps reporting again and again and again that, Trump and Netanyahu are just at each other's throats. They had a tense phone call and there's a big disagreement. And then you turn over to Israeli media And Channel 14 News had quoted Kobe Michael, a senior researcher at the Misgave Institute, who told the Israeli press this: by leaking the story about an alleged serious crisis between Netanyahu and Trump, the Iranians may find themselves completely surprised by the timing of the next military strike. The leak, meaning the leak to Barak Ravid, created a sense of disagreement between the two leaders and positioned Trump as the leader, giving diplomacy another chance despite heavy pressure from Netanyahu. Trump understands very well who the Iranians are. So basically, he's making the argument that it was all it was all meant to trick everybody, including the Iranians, as the U.S. prepared to do a surprise strike on Iran yet again, which they did carry out near the Strait of Hormuz, killing 4 Iranian soldiers. So, what do you make of all of this? What's actually going on here?
Well, it's definitely kind of a chaotic situation. The fundamentals, though, haven't changed. I mean, the Iranians are in control of the Straits of Hormuz. They've demonstrated that. They obviously, because it's their backyard, they can outlast us. We continue to say that we want diplomacy while baking in poison pills to the negotiating demands, saying that the Iranians have to give up enrichment, which we know basically kills any hope of the deal with the Iranians. We know that until we actually restrain the Israelis, whether we admit it or not, that the Israelis will do everything they can to make sure the negotiations aren't successful. And the Israelis have been very upfront with us basically from the beginning. I mean, they want to take down the regime, and they don't care how long it takes. So the fundamentals with the Israelis haven't changed at all. If anything, they know that their time is limited, especially as we head in towards the midterms. So unless we actually start taking away some of the military support that we give them that enables them to go on the offense, I mean, we just have to be realistic and know that Israel's going to operate on, in accordance with their own best interests. So I kind of think a lot of what we're seeing, unfortunately, is theater. And I say that, and I do hope that everything that President Trump says about trying to get a deal, I hope that's true, and I hope he proves us wrong, and I hope he actually does get a deal. But I think right now the Iranians are seeing that they still control the big fundamentals, and they're leaving Trump with the only option right now he has, unless he decides to leave, like I've been advocating for, is to escalate militarily. A lot of the hardliners in Iran, I think, want that. The Israelis want that, but Trump hasn't so far, because I think deep down inside, President Trump knows that actually there is no military solution. He tried that for the first iteration of the war, and it didn't work. So until President Trump kind of snaps out of it and sees that, basically he's being given really bad advice by probably some of his own advisors and by the Israelis, and just leaves, we're going to be stuck in this stalemate, which I think is very dangerous, because we're one missile or we're one strike away from losing some of our troops, and then we're going to be in an escalation cycle once again where we can't leave under fire. Right now, I think he should take the opportunity, while there is a ceasefire, to just declare victory and simply leave, reset the negotiation that way.
Okay, you just said so many interesting things that I want to ask you about. Okay, so I totally agree with your assessment in regard to Trump should just leave. There is no winning this war. But you said that, Iran would want an escalation. Why do you believe that?
Right now, militarily, they're winning. So two things. Number one, because we killed a lot of the moderates in that country, and I know a lot of our critics will get mad when I say the former Ayatollah was some kind of a moderate. I don't mean moderate in the sense of like one of our neighbors moderate here in America. I mean moderate by Iranian standards. He was making the Iranians observe a strict escalation ladder in regards to their proxies attacking us. He held the prohibition on the development of a nuclear weapon. We killed him really early on. The Israelis were diabolically smart in getting us on board with doing that strike, because they basically got us on board of taking out the moderates. Several of the other moderates were killed. So now the IRGC and a lot of the hardliners who've been advocating for more aggression against us and the Israelis for quite some time, they're now in power, and they're saying like, hey, are we going to sit and play this negotiating game with the Americans and wait for them to attack us for the third time during negotiations? Let's hit them. Also, the Iranian regime, they were having some internal strife before the conflict kicked off in February. However, since we killed the Ayatollah and hit Iran, they've had a rally around the flag effect with their people. So the hardliners in Iran, just like the hardliners in Israel, and unfortunately just like the hardliners here in our country, they all want the war to resume because it benefits them. So I think that's what we have to be wary of right now. That's why I say Trump should get us out right now, because one of those hardliners could simply decide to restart the war and, God forbid, kill some of our troops, and then we can't leave under fire. While he can say that we're winning, he should leave right now.
I'm gonna go ahead and end it there, okay? Because it's pretty convoluted, you know. There's a stalemate. How do they move forward? Um, More of the same, little tick tack, tit for tat strikes. No real escalation. Just testing each other and seeing who's going to do what. Waiting for somebody to make a tactical mistake. With an eventual escalation. But right now, it's too early, you know. Nobody wants to make a fatal move, which they've already done. They're just not saying so. Right? This war is over. And Iran won. Now, are they going to start a new war with nukes? That's what we're waiting on. So, what we will do is we'll be patient. We'll get one for the brothers. This is for the brotherhood. Here's what we're going to do. Matthew 24:13. But he that shall endure until the end, here's what we're going to do. We're going to patiently wait. He that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. Who's the same? The elect of Israel, the 1/3. Okay? That's what we're waiting on. We're patiently waiting. Hasting, right? And patiently waiting until the coming of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. With that, we pray that the elect will ratify you, brother and few sisters. Shalom.